Greetings, worldwide family. Good evening, good night, good morning. This is Love Bay Radio, and this is the Champions Table. I'm your host, Nigel Hunter. Thank you for joining us. We got a special guest today, and we will be having a conversation about the bounce back. All right, and what we're going to be doing, this is every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Please join us, 8 p.m. Eastern, depending on where you are in the world. But this is the bounce back is an interview with a champion about the journey of resilience. That's why we call it the bounce back. And our special guest today is Ms Natasha. And just a quick bio about Ms Natasha. She is the owner of CIH Mental Wellness Solutions, and she is a mental wellness peer support creative, author, advocate, and speaker. What her mission is at the CHI Mental Wellness Solutions is to confidently promote creative wellness through speaking engagements, books, mental wellness seminars, and one-on-one peer support, and the Create, Don't Hate show. She also is an author of a book called Autistically Yours, where it's one neurodivergent Black Caribbean woman's tale of triumph over trauma, encouraging self-love, resilience, and authenticity. And she always says, creating instead of hating starts with you. So please join me in welcoming Ms Natasha.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, everyone. I hope you're doing well.
Thank you for being here. What we try to do is, first of all, we try to have intentional conversations, but we also try to create a safe space for you, our interviewer, to, feel free to share, without bias, without judgment, all that good stuff. All right. So we're interested in hearing about your story of resiliency. And so we're going to get right into it. There's something that we say every time we get together on the Champions Table. We say, men talk, women talk, but the truth can't lie. All right. So we're going to have our conversation today. And so let's get right into it. Okay. So as you know, mental health diagnosis is, it's not something that you can, take a blood test and find out, it's not one of those things. Right. And, you find out that you learn differently from somebody else and the rest of the world. And, where do you go from there? One statement that I heard that really resonated with me is that it's a part of you, but it's not who you are, right? So it's a part of you, but it's not who you are. So let's start off with, our first conversation, and our first question for you is, when did you first discover that you were special or unique? And the reason why I haven't defined you, because I don't believe in labels, I think you should define yourself. So please share with us.
When I wasn't advancing as much as my siblings and my cousins, when I heard the comments and ridicule from my family members, when I knew I was unique by how much students and even teachers would scorn and snicker. I learned I was special through those quiet whispers of the Holy Spirit. Okay. And I recognized there was something different with me from the amount of rejection that I had at such a young age, all the way up to today. But I didn't let that stop me.
Awesome.
I understood the notion of looking within and looking up for validation, for love, for guidance, for security. And one thing that I wanted to also read from my book was, sometimes we mistake our most immeasurable gifts for shameful flaws. And listening to people that don't have no business in your path and your journey.
Okay, you jumping into two questions now. I'm gonna slow it down a little bit. Okay, so you said you weren't excelling. Like, what do you mean? Like academically? What are we talking about?
Academically, I didn't have a lot of strengths. Like
Okay.
with regards to mathematics, I had dyscalculia.
Okay.
Which is a struggle when you grew up in the West Indies or in certain other countries. That's like the number one staple,
Right. Right.
and getting in trouble for maybe not remembering how to do certain equations.
Right. Right. So this realization came in school. So
Mm-hmm.
okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And at home.
Right.
Um, Finding that voice was hard. Understanding instructions were hard.
Mm-hmm.
I had a lot of uh, examples as to how to conduct myself, so I just started masking at a very young age. And masking is like kind of like finding something out there in the world to understand. Okay, this is the norm. Let me just be the norm. But it didn't serve me any good
Mm.
because we're not to be like anybody else.
Right.
We're to be ourselves.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that. Yeah, we're not to be anybody else, but we're supposed to be ourselves.
Hmm.
Be
I hope that
uniquely
answers the
who we
question.
are. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. All right. So let me ask you the next question. What caused you to accept your unseen? Because you used the word unseen disability, right? So what
Mhm.
caused you to accept your unseen disability as a gift?
Um. Okay. So I actually still struggle to see it as a gift
Okay.
because of the rejection, the microaggressions, biases, and assumptions of um other people. With and so I just had to again really look within and really do some self reflection. Um, it started in 2017 when my youngest brother passed away.
Okay.
It started when I stopped listening to the shamers and the blamers,
Hmm.
and it also started when I I started to be unapologetically myself, and my faith and belief grew. When my faith and belief grew, it's like I found the confidence, the resilience, the beauty. And then I'll give you another one from my book. When you creatively heal, you free up more brain power and give yourself a fighting chance at changing your own life.
Okay. All right. You dropping some gems here. Okay. Let me slow it down for a little bit. Okay. So this tragedy, unfortunately, your brother passing,
Mm-hmm.
caused you to really self-reflect. Is that a safe word to say? Self-reflect, right? And then you started to accept yourself authentically. So what does that authentic you look like? Let me ask you
Mm.
that question. Like, now that you realize, what does that authentic you look like?
Um, Standing up to bullies,
Okay.
uh, being aware of my flaws and my strengths,
Okay. Awesome.
um, finding my voice and using my voice,
Right.
advocating for myself, being a type of person that you'd want to go to, uh, and that requires a lot of uh, unlearning
Hmm.
and building back of a solid foundation. So I believe that I did all those things throughout mm, maybe a 10 or 15-year span. And I came out really, 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 really strong, really, really confident, really powerful in terms of, I felt like I could do anything, you
I'm
know?
glad that you said the unlearning piece, because a lot of times, we got to unlearn, but we also got to replace it with something, right? We can't just unlearn things and then not replace it with something positive. So we got to unlearn those things, but we got to replace it with something that's going to be positive and that's going to fill that void. So I'm glad you said that. Can you share that quote again? The second quote that you put in there. Can you share that one more time? Yeah.
When you creatively heal, you free up more brain power and give yourself a fighting chance in life.
Okay. All right. So you're hitting something. So what does it mean to creatively heal? Like what
I love.
are you
Thank
talking
you for
about there?
asking that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Being honest, especially with yourself and others around you, especially with the people that's closest to you. I find that since I've been my most authentic self, people have not been. They'd rather me low and low and low. Well, they stay haughty. So it's like, can you repeat the question again? Because I'm getting like
no, you I was asking you about you said creatively healing, right? So I wanted to know what does that look like, you know? And you started sharing it. So being authentic.
Yes.
Authentic, yeah.
Finding what is in your heart, your mind, your soul, what is affecting you and why. Being real, looking in the actual mirror and stating to yourself, I will not continue this upward, whatever spiral you're on, and looking for clarity. Self-reflecting in positive ways. I have something in my business that's called a sincere peer, because I believe I'm a peer supporter.
Right.
And so that requires me to be a comforting companion. That requires me to be an empathetic listener. And also a practical and emotional peer support. So when others don't see themselves, I can build or encourage creative, practical ways for them to find the healing, find the light at the end of the tunnel, or at least hold their hand towards someone who could actually help.
Yeah. So what I hear, and I'm hearing you say that it's important to be transparent with yourself first and foremost, before you can be transparent with other people. Meaning you got to be real with you first. When you look in the mirror, when you have those conversations with God, with yourself, with that, you need to be real in that sense and got to be transparent. That's what I hear. Okay, that's awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome. And then you having done that with yourself allows you to be that support for someone else.
Absolutely. Non-judgmentally.
Right?
Confidentially. Right? Because in our community,
we listen and we don't judge.
I'm so happy you said it. Like that's the baseline there, right? And it's like, wow, judgment is real. And so I don't want to approach my life like that anymore. Don't get me wrong. Humanity is living through all of us.
Right.
But I am going to take it upon myself to be what's the word I'm looking for? Growth oriented.
Growth mindset, growth oriented. Yeah. Definitely.
The validation station.
Right. First starts with you. First, right? Those I am statements, those positive I am statements, those affirmations that you say to yourself first, right? Okay, that's awesome. So let me ask you this now. We've talked about, and you've been opening up this book for us. And so your book is called Autistically Yours. Okay. So what was the motivation for writing it? Let's start there. What was the motivation for writing it?
Okay. Building my
own. Let's see the front cover. Let's see the front cover. Okay. Yeah. Awesome. I like the it looks good. Looks good. Definitely draws your attention, right?
Yeah. Take off the mask and wear your real skin.
Take off the mask. Okay.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And I would never say that I'm a poet like you. I call some of my work pieces of writing. So I put in some of my pieces of writing in there.
Right.
But the whole gist of it was, one, to build autonomy and mental wellness through my words.
Okay.
And that was my motivation.
Break that down for us. Bring
Um,
us build autonomy in through your words. Break that down for us.
Okay, I have to give you.
Who are you building autonomy with? That's my question.
For now, it's within myself.
Okay.
And it's within, like, in terms of, also on the next flip side of it is my spiritual walk.
Okay.
So for those two things,
it sounds like you're always coming to the internal first.
Yeah.
It always starts here first before you go anywhere else. It's always starting here, which is great.
I put the cart before the horse in terms of my life.
Mm-hmm.
So I say, like, I'm Benjamin Buttoning my life. I've done everything backwards,
right.
and not thinking about.
From somebody observing, it may be backwards, but it isn't.
Yeah. Well, that, you know what? That could be the wow. Yeah. That could be directly it. That could be directly it. But also, assisting others by motivating them to build wellness within their own lives. Because again, everything that I do under the umbrella of CIH Mental Wellness Solutions is going to go back to creating instead of hating. So showing others that persons with seen and unseen disabilities are capable, are competent, and deserve to have fulfilling lives too.
Okay, you're saying some really good. Can you say that one more time?
Yeah.
What did you the piece about not the piece about allowing others to kind of self-advocate for themselves, but you said it in a different way. Can you say that again?
Assisting others by motivating them to build wellness within their own lives. Because I'm just a helper.
Yeah.
I'm nowhere near anything but a helper. Right. And encourager. Right. And a lover.
Right.
There's a few.
Right. Giving people the ability to actually create those strategies for themselves within their own lived experience.
Yeah, and just be beside them.
Right. So once again, you're empowering them to really, gain those tools, gain those skills, so they can use it on a day-to-day basis.
Yes, because that's how I was taught.
Okay. Nice.
The purpose of the book is to practically show and share what resilience really looks like.
Awesome. Okay.
And sticking to your most authentic self, once again, using my words for good, not evil.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And I have a scripture for you. Is that all right?
Yeah, of course.
Because it actually directs the reasoning why I wrote this book.
Okay.
So First Peter 2:15 says,
okay,
For it is God's will that by doing good you shall silence the ignorance of talk of foolish people.
Yes. Amen to that.
So
preach, sister.
If I have a book, a lot of the foolish people got to be quiet, because at first, when I didn't know myself, I was yapping my beak about how much I'm going to be writing and how much books this and how much I'm going to do, and I didn't do it. I didn't execute.
Right.
But you see now,
you've executed. Right.
I've executed, and not only that, cleaned up my closet.
Talk about that. What do you mean by that? Cleaned out your closet. What do you mean by that?
How can I say this? Like, found all the nooks and crannies where shame lived. Where guilt lived.
Yeah.
Where self-doubt lived. And found that those didn't serve me. Also, the people in my life, they weeded themselves out after I started to push up my chest and push my back and my shoulders, like real
When
fast.
you weren't living in the guilt and the shame and so forth, the people who
They just,
they
you
weren't
know,
around anymore.
they just
The naysayers.
fluttered away.
Right.
And so I said, hey, this is something I need to continue.
Right.
It's not like before where I still had a hunch over.
Yeah.
And it was because I was serving the people in my life, family and friends, colleagues, whatever, as my God.
Oh, got it.
As they're my saviors.
Right.
When in actuality, it doesn't matter how long you've known them. Sometimes it's, do you know yourself? And how well do you know yourself? And through this whole process, I learned it, and I want to share because I'm not a hoarder.
Right. So that sounds, to me, that sounds like the whole people pleasing. People talk about, being a people pleaser and so forth, and you get to that place where you're spending so much time trying to make everybody else happy, and in reality, they'll never be happy.
That's
right.
Right.
That's what we find out, is that they'll never be happy when you do that. But I wanted to ask you, when you're cleaning out your closet of this guilt, this shame, and all these other things, what does that look like in a practical sense? Like what's like telling somebody who's going through that, who's trying to clean out their closet of shame, guilt, all these other things, what is something practical they can do in that process? That's my question.
So the start,
listeners asking.
Thank you. That's a wonderful question. To the start of my journey, I had to go quiet. I had to do internal inventory.
Okay.
Which is like they say in sometimes if you're dating, you should write the positives and negatives of the person to see where you're compatible. How about doing that with yourself to start with?
Right.
And how you're speaking to others, and then also what you're receiving from others. That will indicate to you where your relationships lie and where you stand within those relationships. I used to dump a lot of my
that's a gem.
So I realized I was a dumper. So why don't you go dump it to God? God will deal with it. And leave them alone. They don't deserve to hear those types of things. So I learned to fixate my mind on things that were way more important.
Right.
Also, the things that you're eating is also important. The way in which you're taking care of your whole entire body is very important. It kind of like purges the negativity if you're eating right. And then it helps you to think better.
Okay.
I wanted to be normal so bad that I ate and went places that I wasn't supposed to. Right? Once I stopped doing it, it was like, yeah, let's go. You know? I always use this analogy with Frozen, the cartoon. In the movie, the character, one of the main characters, they say, conceal, don't feel. And so if you conceal and then put another conceal and another, how do you like break free of that weight?
Right.
Start to write down why you're feeling certain ways in your phone, in your wherever you have to put it. Use a pen and paper, or use your phone, and start to figure out. I have one of my favorite books. It's called Feedback Mentality, and it's by this woman.
Can you tell us the author? Can you tell us?
Dr. Shanita Williams.
Okay, Dr. Shanita Williams, and it's called the
Feedback
Mentality. Okay, and what does it talk about?
It talks about how we receive and give feedback.
Okay.
It's such a simple thing, but
Mm-hmm.
if we're to be our most authentic selves, we're gonna have to have the hard conversations. That's another whole like thing in itself for me.
Mm-hmm.
Having hard conversations. If someone cannot take a boundary that you may have set or a frustration you may have, and you've set it in love, maybe you have to reconnect with why you're with the person that cannot take what feedback you have,
Mm-hmm.
and try to evaluate, what am I really here for, and
Right.
and how is this relationship feeding me?
Right. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So constructive criticism, feedback, but
Mm-hmm.
how you receive that feedback, right?
Mm-hmm.
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 And you know what I've realized is that sometimes it doesn't come in the package that you may want it to come in terms of feedback, and the feedback that's most beneficial doesn't come always in the best package, but if
Mm-hmm.
it's necessary and it's for your betterment, you got to receive it, right? You know,
Mm-hmm.
as we know, we used to have to, drink some bitter stuff, but the bitter stuff was the stuff that made us better, right? So yeah, same goes for feedback, for sure, for
Mm-hmm.
sure. And you said something, and something that I've always disagreed with is that whole notion of being normal, right? Everybody's striving to be normal, and that normal looks the same for everybody. And I so disagree with that. Society may have you think that way, but you're meant to be special. You're meant to be unique. You're meant to be different in your own way. You know what I mean? And I think we all need to strive to do that, as opposed to trying to be this cookie cutter normal. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, for sure, for sure. I'm glad you brought that up. So let me go into the next question for you. And you talked to, just for my own. I've never heard this title before, so it kind of jumped out to me. So I had to ask. So what is it? What is a mental wellness peer support creative?
Yes.
Let me say it again. What is a mental wellness peer support creative? Because I've never heard that title before. For you, Ms Natasha, I have not heard that title. So,
um
yeah.
Again, it's someone who's non-judgmental. It's someone who wants to celebrate your victories with you. It's someone who wants to listen empathetically and help you navigate without judgment or yapping it to somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
It's about um, making someone feel empowered in creatively, and helping them to build mental wellness in the areas where they're struggling.
Mm-hmm.
And also finding the right people in and around in this world to assist as well, because it takes a community. you
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
it's about supporting an individual or a group with growth and acceptance of themselves, and sometimes the hard people in their lives.
Okay. Okay. So I'm a pause for a second. You said something. How do you support someone creatively? Like,
Ah,
let's talk about that. How do you support somebody creatively on their creative journey? Like, what does that look like? Because that's something definitely not just for me, but I know for young people, especially in this day and age. How do you support, you know, them creatively, especially when
mhm,
their dreams, they have dreams and they have things that they want to do in life that don't even exist yet.
mhm,
And like,
mhm,
they're going to be doing stuff that don't even exist, have not been invented. And
mhm.
I think every generation has that, but like, how do we support young people in that like creative journey? That I like how you said that. How do we do that? What does that look like practically? I'm always down to the steps. Let's make this,
Mhm.
you know.
I would be around you for a little while and also get to know who you are and build a kind of a notion.
Right.
and
So it
figure
starts
out
with a relationship. Starts with building a relationship.
rapport, rapport, and
Okay.
then finding your likes
Mm-hmm.
and your dislikes, and then coming up with solutions or tools that can assist you in finding that path towards wellness. So, for instance, uh, maybe taking paper, because I stationery is like one of my things. So, and drawing your ideal space, your ideal the things you want to see, the things you want to achieve, and doing that in a if it's
It almost sounds like a vision board
a
type of
vision
vibe.
board or collage or some
Yeah.
sort of practical. But let's go to the dollar store and buy whatever things we have to buy. It's kind of like, how can I say this? It's kind of like going fishing when you've never been fishing before. It's kind of like taking yourself out for a walk and you've never walked all winter.
Right.
And let's dissect what's been going on. It's about being there in an IEP meeting and saying, you know what, this person is doing their best, and this is what you can do as the person who's supposed to be supporting them. This is what you can do to better support them, because some people don't have the voice for advocacy. They need someone with them creatively coming up with the ideas to bring into the space for the hard conversation.
Okay. I'm glad you said that. So you sometimes will support parents.
Oh yes. I
Parents
was sorry.
in meetings with the school and with the they call it individual education plan. So you'll help out parents in that process in the sense of sitting in and being sort of their voice and their support in the sense of allowing them to get that support with their child.
I didn't just because some people think that because I have disabilities that I don't have any sense. So I have to like explain myself always. So in saying that, I will tell you all my backgrounds and why I think I'm qualified. I was a preschool readiness instructor for 20 years. I worked with persons with
personal readiness.
Yes, so getting children ready for school.
Okay, cool.
Also, I worked with seniors. I worked with persons with disabilities for 5.5 years. I have like, I don't know. I just have a love for people and wanting to see them win.
Right.
In all sorts of facets. So just building that rapport is something that is invaluable. Going to lunch and just speaking about what you aspire to do or be. Some people don't have anyone to tell that to.
Right.
And it's just like, whoa, I have something here, but how could I bring it to life? And I just started to work within, and then things started to gravitate to me. Right. Speaking engagements, individual one-on-ones. I got to go to speak in Atlanta about mental health. I got to speak in certain small spaces and hopefully in the future very large spaces. It's just something that with the right tools, this whole creative healing thing is going to take off. I think so.
Yeah,
I think
it's taking off already. And you said something that resonates with me, is that when you authentically accepted who you were, I think that also opened a lot of doors and opportunities, because you're living in your purpose in the sense of who you are, and why you're doing what you're doing, and those opportunities are going to come because you're in that space. You know what I'm saying? You're living in that space. So I think that's commendable, you know what I'm saying, for you, that I'm saying that to you, that's commendable, that, you know, you've authentically realized who you were. And that's when the doors start opening, you know. Yeah, yeah. You're not as your book shows, you've taken the mask off, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's important. That's important. I think all of us, you know, viewers included, myself included, is that when we take those masks off and we live authentically, who we were created to be, that will definitely open the doors and the opportunities that are supposed to be there for us. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah. I'm glad that you've explained that role there, you know, mental wellness, peer support, creative. I like that. I really do.
I have something in my book that I found in another book about self-affirmations for persons with autism.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the first ones that I made sure I included in here is, I am not defective, I am different.
I like that. Can I hear them? So what are the affirmations? Can we hear them?
I will not sacrifice my self-worth for pure acceptance.
Okay.
And I did that.
Awesome.
I actually did that many times.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned that that's not a fire that I'm willing to get burned in anymore.
Mm-hmm. Say that one more time.
Yes.
I will not
sacrifice my self-worth for pure acceptance.
Yeah, I think that applies to everybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that applies to everybody for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely for the autistic, but also for people in general. Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let me hear the second one.
I am good and interesting. I am a good and interesting person.
Mm-hmm.
Because people could make you believe you're not. And meanwhile, suck out all of the energy and the worth and all this out of you.
Right, right.
Oh, you're nothing, but yet come over here and give me this and this and this and this, and then bye. No way.
Right, right,
so
right,
the next one.
That's value. Your own value. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I am capable of getting along with society.
Mm.
So society will tell us that we are unworthy. And that is absolutely farce.
Right.
A lie.
Right.
And when you start to know it, it's like you'll see the world for what it is. The Matrix, you'll see you're in the Matrix, and you'll see where you can avoid and where you need to go to make it out.
Right, right,
mm-hmm.
right. I think it's supposed to be the other way around. Isn't society supposed to make its effort to, you know, include us, inclusivity, as opposed to us trying to, you know, include ourselves in society? But that's a side note.
And I will ask for help when I need it.
That is powerful.
Right?
Yeah.
And again, that's advocacy. And self-advocacy is not a burden. It's not a burden.
Yeah.
We think it is, but it's not a burden.
Yeah.
It's just the people you are asking.
Yeah.
And those people are then, they're not for you. I can never ask any of my family to buy a book.
Right.
It's strangers.
Yeah. It's funny. My brother said the same thing to me like 2 days ago. He was like, don't look for the people to know you, to support you. It's going to be the people who don't know you that are really going to be the ones that support you. You know what I mean? And you said something, I don't want to forget it, in the sense of asking for help. When we talk about men and, that whole notion of, we don't like to ask for help, or we shouldn't. We've been told that we shouldn't have to ask for help. You're a man, you don't need to ask for help, and so forth. And I think that's very, very important for us men to realize, and that it's okay to ask for help from the right people. You know what I mean? It's a sign of maturity and a sign of being a man when you know that you need help and you can go to get that support. That's a real sign of maturity and being a man, as opposed to saying, I don't need the help, or I'm going to figure it out on my own, when you truly do need the help. Yeah.
I agree.
Appreciate you saying that. Yeah. Is that all the affirmations? Is there
I am a person who is worthy of others' respect and acceptance. And mercy. I thought I was.
Respect and acceptance.
And acceptance.
Okay.
I'm not too hard to accept.
Right.
If I find that the right people will and the wrong people will not.
Right.
And they'll make a whole bandwagon of she's not worthy of respect or she's not worthy of acceptance. But you know what? That means that's okay. I'm not for you.
Right. And you can't have one without the other, right? You cannot have acceptance and no respect, right? You have to have acceptance and respect, right? They got to go hand in hand, right? That's key, and I'm glad they put that together. Acceptance and respect, right? And you can't say you accept me and then you don't respect me, right?
No.
Right.
And that's exactly what was happening, and it was tripping my mind, like the breaker.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is happening?
Right.
And I realized, again, once you find whose you are and who you are, they can't trip that up anymore.
Right.
You can't trip that up anymore.
Right.
People
who accept you and respect you are not trying to trip that up in the first place, right?
I will find a career interest. I will find a career interest that is well suited to my abilities and interests. Because with disabilities, sometimes you're not given the chance, so you don't even know what is your career interest or what am I good at. So I made sure to try everything, and good heavens, I have.
Right.
And I believe I'm in the right place now. It just fits right.
That's good.
Yeah. I will be patient with those who need time to understand me. So
I will be patient with those who need the
time to understand me.
Wow.
Okay. Right. So to me, this is for new relationships because, you're just too hard to understand. Actually, you're ignorant and you have shame, and you can go over there and deal with it, and to bring in for all the new great people that are going to come my way. And that's how it has been, and it has been fabulous because of my my love of the Lord, and because I know who I am, and I know whose I am.
Yeah.
It's so wonderful.
But I hear in that also. I also hear in that there's a level of accountability too, right? And that's important in the sense of that you are accountable. That it takes time, it takes patience, it takes not just from that person, but also for you allowing that person to understand who you are, right? And so you're taking the patience and taking the steps to say that, okay, I'm investing in this relationship and I'm investing in this person and I want this person to be a part of my life, and I'm going to take the time to really teach them who I am, right? So I think there's a level of personal accountability when I hear that as well, right? Because if the person is willing to be there and wants to be there, you gotta take the opportunity to be like, okay, let me give them the opportunity to understand who I am.
Yes,
and that's real. That's
and
really
getting to know them as well, and being open to who they are. That's very important as well.
Right.
As well. And then the last two, I am never going to give up on myself.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I will accept myself for who I am. Yeah.
Those are awesome. And I think those go for the world. You know what I'm saying? Everybody. Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. All right. So I'm going to get into this question here. We can spend as much time as we want to on there. So what is the create, don't hate movement? I call it a movement. You know what I'm saying? It's create, don't hate movement. Can you share with us what that is?
Before I even answer, I must say we all, as we all know, there is so much hate in the world, and we don't want to promote that.
Right.
So hence why we're even doing this.
All of its forms.
That's correct.
Okay, right.
And so in my journey, I was hating on myself. I was hating on myself, and I was like, wait a second, it starts with me.
Right.
And I wrote a children's book when I started this journey called Exceptionally You, because you can only be you. That's all you can do.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so that made me start to think about, how could I create greatness and all the things that I want in my own life? And I said, something fluttered, create, don't hate.
Right.
So create, don't hate is a real practical way of encouraging mental wellness, creativity, hope, and resilience.
Okay.
Create, don't hate was born out of frustration. The frustration of persons hating on others with differences. And I wanted to create a movement of hope, grace, creative wellness to assist others within their own walk.
Mm.
It was a way for me to get through the tough times. It was a way for me to open up my mind creatively. So I started bouncing. I got myself a trampoline in my office, a little, like one of those one person ones.
Yeah.
To get my sillies out.
Right.
If I'm upset, bounce.
Right.
It's not that serious.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You still have now? Is this something you still have now?
I have
Yeah,
it.
oh, that's dope. That's dope. Yeah.
If I'm overexcited, bounce. Get your sillies out. Some people go play ball.
Mm-hmm.
Some people go play football. Some people run track. I used to run track.
Yeah.
I don't go anymore, but those are the ways that I create instead of hate. I create instead of hate by speaking kindly to others and myself. I create instead of hate by building this business.
Right.
I wasn't getting hired. And so it was just before COVID. And I was like, I need to do something. This is ridiculous.
Right.
And so I created instead of hating on my life.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to encourage in everyone. What can you do? Or what are you good at? Let's cultivate that. Let's start there. Because that's going to build your resilience, and you're taking your mind off something to do something that's even some hard thing, but it's good. You're going to come back to it. It's going to direct you in the right directions.
That's dope. That's dope.
Mm-hmm.
Because you've been creating some terms here. You've been creating some new terms here, and you said creative wellness.
Mm-hmm.
I heard that. And is that a part of creative wellness? Some of the things that you've shared there.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds good. Yeah.
Yep. Like when y'all had the barbershop talks.
Right.
That's a create don't hate moment. I had to be there.
Right.
Like those I wish that I had that mindset previous, but it just wasn't my time just yet. I need to learn some things. I wouldn't have been this like precise within my own life if I did have it early, I believe,
Right.
But I need it. It's necessary. Look outside, you'll see how much it's necessary. I grew up with my grandmas, and now they're both gone. And I'm like, what are the nieces and nephews gonna do? Who are they gonna turn to? How are they gonna think? At least if they see that, oh, Tasha, No. That's not my story anymore. Right. Actually, Ms Natasha is doing a lot.
Right.
And you can too.
Right.
So I'm kind of like, again, I'm flipping it on my own terms.
That's good. That's good. Let me ask you a question. So what would you tell a little girl, coming up, having some of the similar, struggles that you had and so forth? What would you say to a little girl like that?
I would say
that means not say little girl, little boy.
Yeah, little boy, little girl. I would say give yourself grace and empathy. Be kind to yourself.
And empathy, you said.
And empathy.
Okay.
And be kind to yourself. Speak kindly to yourself. Don't try to internalize what others say about you that's negative.
Yeah.
But listen enough to know that there may be some things you need to change.
Right. Right.
And also, what society says you are, you're not.
Mm, I like that. I like that. That's a word right there. Speak kindly to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That is the Wednesday word. Speak
Mm-hmm.
kindly to yourself. Start there. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And create instead of hate in your own life first.
Yeah, yeah,
Don't point the finger at anybody else and you didn't do the work over here.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I think that's what I'd say.
That's dope. I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that. That is powerful.
Mm-hmm.
That is powerful. We thank you for your time, your wisdom. Let me end off by saying this. How can people reach you? How can they get a copy of your book? Like, how do we do all of those things?
You can reach me at natashaconnects@gmail.com,
Okay.
at Create Don't Hate on YouTube,
Yeah.
and at Ms Natasha Connects on Instagram.
Okay, cool. And I know we have the flyer that's out there, so all those contacts, or at least the Instagram contact, I know for sure is there. Yeah, we thank you for being a part of the Champions Table today. Men talk, women talk. Truth can't lie. We're glad that you're here, and it's been a pleasure. It has definitely been a pleasure. You have shared a lot of wisdom, a lot of practical wisdom that we can take into our day-to-day lives and apply immediately. Apply immediately, and it starts with us first. Within, it starts internally first before we put it out there to anybody else, right? It starts with me first, and then I can share it to the rest of the world. So thank you for that. And also join us here on Love Bay Radio tomorrow, Thursday, April 10th, 8 p.m. It's called The Safe Room with our host, Sean Williams, and he will be speaking with Christopher Lawrence about staying in the mix, promotion, and marketing. Once again, we thank you for joining us here, Ms. Natasha.
Thank you, Nigel.
Table. And we thank you all listeners for joining us and being here with us in this amazing conversation. Have a great one.